Here we go, baby. You guys requested it. We got the Affliction guide for the pre-patch before the new expansion comes out. This is my Affliction build that I'm rocking with. Everybody asked me why I play these talents and what we play. So we're going to go over it right here, right now. Starting off with the normal Warlock Talents. We got Demonic Circle. Obviously, you need this. That's going to be part of our mobility. Very, very important. I opted to not go with Fell Domination because we're playing Sacrifice, and it's not like super hardcore games, so we don't got to Fell Dom a Fell Hunter for an extra CS, and I wanted to be able to free up some points. So we missed those. Burning Rush, I haven't really messed with that, but you'll kind of kill yourself to get a move speed increase. I don't see that being worth it. After Demonic Circle, we got Demon Skin. This is a nice talent, so we can passively regenerate our Soul Leech. So you'll go in and you'll automatically have a shield stacking up because of that. And also the Fell Armor. So we got damage reduction. And when Soul Leech absorbs damage, 10% of the damage taken is absorbed and spread out over 5 seconds. So it makes Warlocks really, really tanky. And I'm not taking Abyss Walker just because I feel like it's a waste of a talent point. We're trying to free up as many points as possible to get to the bottom of the row, because the bottom talents here are really crazy. We'll see later on. So then we got Curse of Enfeeblement. You definitely want the tongues. This pairs well with the Amplify Curse and another talent on the Affliction side that we'll cover later on with Corruption. So this, super annoying. If you amp tongues casters, they're going to really hate you. And you can also amp Exhaustion to slow your enemies if they're kiting you a lot. And now I have Coil for 2s. If you're doing 3s, you can play Howl of Terror. But if you're fighting like warriors and stuff, you're going to want the Coil over the Howl. So that's kind of situational. And then we got extra health. So Demonic Fortitude, you definitely want more health because our heals and shields will be bigger. So anything that we can use to buff our health, you definitely want to take those. And we got BAM. Increases Grimoire of Sacrifice damage right here. This is going to be massive. So we're going to be playing Sacrifice, no pet. There's a couple talents in here. So this one and that one that increase sac damage. This is going to be very important. So you want to take those. The first line doesn't matter because we're not playing with a pet out. All we care about is that sac increased damage. So that's why we're taking those. Boom, we got 10% stam. We already went over that, so that's why we got that. Drain Life heals for 30% more while you're below 50% health. So this is going to be nice with one of the conduits that we're going to be using. I'll show you later on. For the drain healing, you get to abuse this, and it makes you pretty much unkillable if you do it correctly. We also have Sweet Souls. So your Hellstone heals you for an additional 10%. And when a party member Hellstones, it'll heal you as well. We used to have this back in, I think it was Legion. That was an artifact ability. So it was really nice. We got the Gateway, because you can make this instant with a spell called Soulburn at the bottom of the tree. So you definitely want that. Then we go Shadow Fury. So we have a stun. It sucks that it's casted, but it's something. And it connects to the other talents that we're going to take on the bottom. So must have. I go for the increased damage reduction on my wall over the cooldown reduction, because a lot of the games are pretty short if I'm doing solo shuffle. I never get to my second wall anyway. So I just opt in for the extra damage reduction. I feel like there's more value into that. Dark Pact is a must-have for our survivability, because you're also going to be able to reduce the cooldown by 15 seconds. So we got a 45-second giant shield, which is going to be impacted by our health. So we got these talents that are buffing our health. It's going to make our Dark Pact even bigger. This is massive. 45-second cooldown. It's pretty short. So easy to rotate that in. I spec Lifeblood because we're going to have accrued vitality from the Conduit. That's going away in the new expansion, but right now it works in Arena. So there's no point to waste the talents into this because the Conduit is actually better. So you'll see when we go over Conduits. So we just get Lifeblood. I mean, this Lifeblood's pretty useless anyway, but yeah, just filler point. Soul Link, I know this was bugged. I think they fixed it recently, so that's just going to give you 10% extra stamina because you're not going to play with a pet out. So extra health, we'll take it when we can get it. And then we got Soul Conduit. I'm just spec'd into this because the big, major, important spell is Soul Burn. Look at what Soul Burn does. You can amplify your port, make your gateway instant. Drain Life has a big shield, and also the Health Stone. So this spell is going to be very important. Like a big part of why we're so tanky and hard to kill. And then my last point I put into Inquisitor's Gaze. It's pretty useless, but there's nothing else to really put it into. I've spec'd in a synergy before. It just buffs your sac damage. But doing the math, 1 point in synergy is less than 1 point in Inquisitor's Gaze. And there's nothing else to really spec into. So I just put the point into that for fun, but you don't have to do it. It's just what I do. And now we'll go to the normal Affliction tree. So we're going to take Malefic Rapture. That's obviously, you're stuck with getting that. I don't go for this right side of the tree because this is Seed of Corruption, and that's like PvE, AoEing stuff. You're not going to really want to press that in PvP. So we go down the left side. UA must have. We have Corruption as instant cast and instantly deals damage. You definitely need that because it's also going to connect to other important stuff down the line. I didn't get Harvester of Souls because I've tested it and it doesn't do much damage at all. As you can see, like Harvester of Souls and Pandemic, I used to spec into them, but they actually do nothing. Waste of a point because these are 2-pointers. We don't want these 2-pointers. They're big waste of talents. We got Nightfall for our Drained Soul. You can use the Nightfall procs on the Drained Soul. And also the Drained Soul helps stack up your Shadow Embrace on your target. So you're going to take 9% additional damage from your dots if you get the Drained Soul with Shadow's Embrace. So these synergize really well together. Agony, definitely want to spec into Agony so you get the higher stacks, and the stacks will start at 4 when you initially put it up. We go Phantom Singularity over Vile Taint. Vile Taint got buffed. There are maybe some situations, if it's an AoE, maybe an Holy DK, Demo Lock, Vile Taint could be interesting because it applies Agony and Exhaustion now, but most of the time I'm taking Phantom Singularity. And this also connects to the Grimoire of Sacrifice. We've talked about that earlier. There's a bunch of talents in the normal tree that buffs this damage. So this is a must have. And then we got Absolute Corruption over Siphon Life. Siphon Life's just not worth the global. The healing is nerfed 30%. And yeah, it'll feel pretty annoying if you have to play with that. So I just buff Corruption. Corruption does a crap ton of damage. You want to prioritize this dot because it's huge. And then we got Inevitable Demise. Very important for your drain stacks. So your Agony is going to stack up your drain and increase the healing and damage of it. So this is huge for your burst. You're going to rotate in your drain souls with the procs and then your drain lives with this and soul rot to get big healing and also big damage. Soul swap is a nice addition. So you're going to be able to put up all your dots instantly on a 30-second cooldown. So you cast your dots on one guy and then bam, soul swap to the next. Really easy to keep up dots now with that, thanks to that talent. Soul tap, I never really press this button, but I just use it because it's 1 talent point instead of 2 to connect to Creeping Death, which is a must-have talent. They buffed Creeping Death. It no longer reduces the dot duration. It just makes them deal damage faster, so you need this talent. And Soul tap allows you to get it without wasting an additional point in Pandemic Invocation. Withering Bolt, and that's going to buff your drain soul damage, so you're going to want to have that, and it also connects you to Dark Lair. Well, I guess Sacrilash connects you there too, because you're going to need Sacrilash. So Sacrilash, buffing your Corruption dam. We talked about that earlier. Corruption's like going to be one of your biggest dots. And this also extends your curses. So your Curse of Tongues, when you amplify it, it's going to extend that, but it's no longer permanent because they just recently nerfed it. Then we go to Soul Rot. I am playing Nightface, so you do get Soul Rot, but the talent below it is huge for resetting the cooldown of Soul Rot. And this is what ties in to the crazy drain healing with Warlock. So these two pair really well. You Dark Layer your Soul Rots to extend them, and then you can get massive drain heals because any target that you drain that doesn't have Soul Rot, all of the targets with Soul Rot, it's going to drain as well. So you definitely want to abuse that. And now PvP talents, always need Rampant Afflictions, very, very important. Also Rapid Contagion, these are must-haves. You need those talents. And then the last one is going to be optional. I was Netherward for playing against spellcasters, but you can play like precog if you're fighting against people that have a lot of kicks. I've seen some people also use Casting Circle could be useful. Essence Drain if you wanted to drain life and be pretty much immune to damage if you're fighting like a warrior. Death Bolt could be a little bit feeky, but if you want to mess around with that, you can. I've seen that done. And yeah, those are the talents. Last up, we got our Legendaries. So you want to still be playing with the Drain Life Legendary. This has been implemented into the talent tree at the bottom called Grim Feast, but it's also only 30%. If you notice, 30% in the tree, but 100% on the Lego. So you want the Lego right now. And then the normal Unity, which is also in the talent tree here, Dark Harvest, so you don't need to spec into that. And then Conduits, we still play Korain. I'm playing normal Korain. We got Soul Eater. Shade, I don't even think this does anything, but there's not any better Conduits to really use, so it doesn't matter. Accrued Vitality, you see it's 44% compared to, I think it's 30. Yes, 30% if you spec 2 points into that. So it's going to be more powerful if you use it with the Conduits. That's why we use the Conduit over the one in the tree. And we got Agony. You want to increase your Agony duration. And Corrupting to reset the cooldown on Dark Lair. Because remember, we have cooldown reduction on Dark Lair now. Right here, bam. And cooldown reduction on Soul Rot. Because you want to be using these two spells together. So it's really huge for the drain healing. And then I went to the left side instead of the right because Demonic Momentum is no longer working and you have Soulburn Port to take its place. So I went to the right and we got Condensed Animosphere for extra healing. So we're even more tanky. And that is the build to destroy your enemies as an Affliction Warlock in Arena, Solo Shuffle. I use that build everywhere right now. And you're super tanky if you rotate everything properly. So yeah, that's that. And thank you guys for watching the guide. I hope it helped. Leave a like and comment down below. And let me know if there's any other content you want me to cover before the new expansion.